Zach.
Oh, hey.
How's it going?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Good. How did the mountains treat you a couple weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. That seemed like an eternity ago. Yeah, that was nice. It was, summertime in the mountains in the south, because it was Chattanooga area, are not necessarily cool. So I didn't get a break from the heat, but it was fun just to wake up and see a view every morning.
Yeah, good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for doing this. I have a lot of conversations with internal people, but we're trying to start bringing people in from the outside, and those are the conversations I love because I talk to my coworkers every day, obviously. So getting to pick people's brains outside of the 2W world is something I really enjoy. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it.
So let's start by just introduce yourself and kind of give your 30-second elevator pitch as to what Hook Security is all about.
Yeah, so my name is Zach Eikenberry. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hook Security. And Hook Security is a security awareness training company that is designed to bring the latest psychological and educational research into the industry, allowing us to create a more elevated and better end user experience. So at the end of the day, Hook Security empowers managed service providers to serve their small business clients and give them access to security training like they've never had before.
Awesome. And I can vouch for that because we've been partnered with Hook for about 2 years now, which aligns perfectly with my appointment here. So I got to experience the end user aspect of going through the training when I first started, as well as I work closely with the sales team. So I hear about all the clients' feedback and the impact that your programs have on them. So it's been a really cool partnership. And yeah, I'm lucky that I get to see it from two different perspectives.
Yeah, well, we're pretty excited and privileged to be able to work with folks like you because most security solutions that a managed service provider would have are hidden to the small business, right? They're not entirely aware of what threat detection you're using or your remote management tools, etc. But they do the security training and they do experience that. And so we carry 2W's brand into the small business. And we take that very seriously. We do have a saying around here that cybersecurity is too important to take seriously. But we do believe it's incredibly important to, and that's a cheeky way of talking about our humorous videos. But we do think it's incredibly important that, we represent awesome brands like 2W to your clients, and we show them what you guys are capable of. And we only want to reflect positively back on companies like yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's something we appreciate because we, try to put our uniqueness in front of everything. So to be able to put that in that area of our business is amazing. So speaking to people external is something that I love, but being able to speak to someone who is a co-founder and have been there since the beginning is a whole other ballpark. So I kind of want to pick your brain on the vision aspect of Hook Security because cybersecurity is its own area. And then you have phishing, which is its own area. And then the awareness and training is its own bucket within that. So how did that begin?
Yeah, so I'm one of those poor, unfortunate souls that no one would hire out of college. So I hired myself and started my entrepreneurial journey then. So I've only ever worked for myself since college. And Hook Security would be my eighth company. I've had a few other exits and other opportunities over the years. Immediately before Hook Security, I actually started 2 high schools and a middle school in the upstate of South Carolina.
Okay.
And so I was retiring from there. I don't know a better word for it. It was a nonprofit. And I was talking with my good friend Adam Anderson, who had just sold his cybersecurity company. And he was telling me all about the space security awareness training, right? How do you help non-technical people recognize and respond to online threats? And in that conversation, I remember remarking to him one night after like sitting on his front porch for like 3 hours and him lecturing me on the industry, that what we had done is taken all the bad ideas from public education and put those into corporate training. And
Okay.
he said, yeah, that's exactly what we did. So I knew there was an opportunity there. And when I spent the next like 8 months of my life researching and doing all the demos, I've done all the demos with companies like KnowBe4, Mimecast, Proofpoint, all the way down. And Hook Security was born out of conviction that this industry really needs to be turned on its head. And it really needs to, at a research level, challenge a lot of the economic behavioral theory that undergirds a lot of the training approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's usually guised as just being practical or pragmatic. But it's just not helpful to people. It ends up talking down and disrespecting the client, right? And the end user, and Karen in accounting, who just wants to do her job, now has to do this theatrical performance where she acts like she cares about cybersecurity for 15 minutes a year. And it's just not healthy to cultures and where companies are going. And so Hook was born out of the idea that beyond demographics, we can bring psychographics and other ways of measuring effective training into the world. And so that's what we did. And at the end of the day, it really just comes out as like humorous sketch comedy. But the passion between and linking those two things is something that is part of our DNA at Hook, to really challenge a lot of the going assumptions of what does it mean to actually train people who don't want to be trained.
Yeah. That definitely shines through everything that I've encountered with Hook. I will say, so you mentioned that they are humorous videos, and when I went through the training here at 2W, I mean, it was thrown in with a bunch of other applications that we had to train for, and going through, which I won't name names, but going through this one applications training, I literally could not stay awake, and I'm not retaining anything because it's that boring and it's that mundane and the voices are monotone and it's just not entertaining to your point. And then I get to the Hook stuff and I'm like, okay, this actually feels like, the new Top Gun movie. Like I'm sitting here and I'm engaged the whole time, and that directly relates to retention. So
yeah, just know that there's magic behind it all. And we understand all the other pieces that it takes to have a security program. But like I said, to the person who has a lot of other things going on and their company has asked them to, take a training on phishing emails or the latest scams or what ransomware is, like, we want to show up and be the best part of their day. And so that's part of our North Star. Absolutely.
Well, we can move on to the human psychology piece, because I know that's something you're super passionate about. And when we had our first conversation, being a marketer, we tend to always have the psychology aspect of things in the back of our heads. But having that conversation with you, I didn't think about psychology in this specific sense with the phishing simulations, with all the campaigns that we can run through Hook. So can you talk a little bit more about how that plays a role in your overall strategy?
Yeah. So psychology, right? The psyche is really the Greek word is, to study the spirit, or the spirit of the organization, or the animating spirit of people. And so when it comes to security and threat recognition, it's my contention that it's more than behavioral-based analytic work. It's actually trying to figure out what animates people. Why would they, put themselves in a situation or their organization in line with some sort of security threat or some sort of scam or ransomware, whatever it is, a threat to the organization. And when you ask those questions, you open up an entirely different world. And the new world really is built around, hey, humans are not just like a layer of your organization. You don't just have like 7 layers of security, and there's the human layer, and then there's the threat intelligence layer, and then there's the response layer, incident response, whatever. You really step back and start asking yourselves, okay, what does it mean to really unlock humans so that they can run the security for you and be champions? And that's what we usually mean by cultural work, culture being the unspoken rules of an organization. And culture is something that people walk in and just know. And if you walk into a small business and the salespeople just know that it's important to be methodical about their emails so they recognize phish, or they make sure that physical security is important and that people don't tailgate. If the salespeople know that, then you usually have a good barometer to say, like, the rest of the organization probably also respects the fact that this small business wants to keep its client data secure and private. They want to make sure that they keep their business running. And then it matters to not add anything else to the world that it's already hard enough to run a small business. And so when we think about psychology, we think about, what does a person feel? What do they want to experience? How do they want to be treated? And you end up with some ironic pieces of research, but also just application.
Yeah.
I'll share one that's one of my favorite examples. And it's a challenge to some of the economic behavioral theory, because economic behavior theory is like this idea that, like, people work on, like, they avoid pain and they pursue pleasure. Or the way that you think about it is they pursue incentives and they avoid, disincentives or punishment.
Yep.
So what most people, when they build a security training program, they say everybody needs to take it. And I have one or two choices. I either throw a pizza party if we all take it and take the course and pass and do a phishing simulation, or anybody who doesn't, the training will continue until morale increases, and they punish people continuously. And that's how usually economic behavior theory works right now. Psychologically, you would bring in perhaps a social dynamic to the training and say that actually, if you believe all the employees of the organization want to be respected and known by the other employees, then there actually is a whole nother layer of incentive. So here's how this plays out. We did this with a 300 person bank.
Okay.
They said, we want to deliver training out to all our employees, and we've got to require it. You do this every May. It's got to get in because we got to submit these reports. It's got to go up to FINRA, and it's got to do all these other things. Cool. They said, out of 300, we're actually really good. Well, we'll have 280 people usually take it within the first couple weeks, and we just have to hunt down the other 20 each year. And they patted themselves on the back. They said it was good. I said, cool. Well, why are we talking? Well, we want to provide gift cards to people, $5 Starbucks gift card, if they complete their training in the first week. Awesome. Okay. And I said, so that's a economic behavior thing. Like, hey, you do this, you're a mouse, and I give you some cheese. Cool. It's everybody. So we said, actually, that's not what the research shows. The research shows that you're more likely to do something on behalf of somebody else than for yourself. So we said, if you'll expand it, how about we give everybody a $5 gift card? And if they complete it in the week, they can give another $5 gift card to anybody else in the organization. And they did this, and 300 people completed the training within a week, within 5 days. All 300, except for somebody who was absent. One of the things I thought was very interesting is they ended up piling a bunch of those gift cards together, the giveaway ones, because one of their coworkers was battling cancer, and they wanted to give her just a big gift instead.
Yeah.
And that all came from the security program.
Right.
Training. And that's what we mean by getting into the spirit of the organization. And the spirit of the organization is, we're a bank that actually cares about our other employees. We actually like each other. So why don't we leverage that so that we can all take this training together and all be more secure as a bank?
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like I should have our culture committee in here, because going into the bigger picture of an organizational culture.
You have a culture.
Yeah.
You do. Every organization already has a set of unspoken rules and how they feel and how they act towards each other. Why not include, if you all are in sync about phishing emails, then you can just you can trust that your colleagues are not trying to put you out of business, and that your job's not going to go away because somebody downloaded ransomware and your business goes out of business.
Right.
That's fun. Makes it easier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm sure. So I think when we had our discussion, you talked about psychology too, from the person on the other end of a phishing, like an actual phishing attack, in terms of FOMO. And like naturally humans were curious, right? So if something comes across our email inbox and it's like, hey, you won a cruise or something, you're naturally curious and you want to see if that's valid.
Yeah. So I think this is the most counterintuitive research, and it comes from a neurological side of threat recognition. And that is that when somebody is presented with a scam or fake email, basically almost 99% of the time, people recognize it. They know it's suspicious. Mm-hmm. So why do they click? Well, they click because they actually override their suspicion. They validate the email in its context. They validate the communication. So they say, this Amazon package, I didn't order anything from Amazon, but I could have.
Right.
And then they click. I didn't hear anything about a new payroll update from our HR people, but I guess we could have had a new payroll system. I'll click and put my banking information.
Right.
Right. Like, or, some of the psychology tricks that the bad guys use really play on loneliness, especially towards seniors and isolated teenagers. Mm-hmm. And so they'll often, extend friendship or consideration for them, saying like, hey, I'll just passing somebody a compliment. They'll be like, I'm not the kind of person who gets compliments. Nobody actually really likes me. Wait, hold on. Somebody just passed me a compliment. Okay. And all of a sudden they're disarmed.
Right.
And that's what we mean by what's actually happening in a phishing email. So it is not that people are dumb and unaware. Mm-hmm. What they are is they're threat vetoers. And so if we actually get them to trust their gut more, we believe, and I think some of the research out there validates this idea, that if you trusted your gut more on what's a scam and what's too good to be true and what's off, you would actually increase your productivity. You could get through more emails, and you would get through more emails without introducing any risk to yourself or the company.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've caught myself going through emails, and I'll cross my T's, dot my I's, and be checking if it's something that I think is suspicious. But then I'll catch myself and be like, it doesn't matter, because either way, this doesn't interest me. Like, I'm not interested in this anyway, but I see myself kind of going through the steps of like, if I wanted to, could I click it? Like, just for fun.
What's interesting about technology providers and tech companies, and, perhaps some of your clients, the more they're aware of what they're spending on security, also the more disarming it is. So the psychology of it is, or at least what's going on in your head is like, well, it could be real, it could not be real, but I know we have this email security deal. Right. I know we have backups. I know we have this, so it doesn't matter. And that disarming piece where you just say, my gut could be right, but as a second level, and that's one of the things that I think is fascinating, is the more executive a person is in an organization and the more they know about the security budget and what they spend or don't spend, that's why they end up being more likely targets of scams, phishing attacks, and other compromises. And so,
interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
And they're also the people with the access.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. So this is a good leeway, because threats are getting more and more advanced, and a lot of that has to do with AI nowadays. Like AI is a big term in technology in general, but in cybersecurity, especially phishing, it plays a unique role because it's on both sides, right? Like bad actors and people creating these phishing emails are able to leverage AI. At the same time, we're obviously leveraging AI to combat those bad emails. So I actually saw a LinkedIn post, I think by an employee of yours or from your company page, I can't remember. And it was about deepfakes. And they actually use your voice and then did a voice clone and played it side by side. And honestly, I don't think I would be able to tell if I didn't know that one of them was fake. And I know that that's only one side of it, because it goes into like, you can craft videos based on like an image or another video created.
We are going to have to re-underwrite what we think we see on screens. Humans have an uncanny ability. There's a couple of phenomenons that we have. One of them is we are tool-seeking creatures. That is, we seek out tools to leverage for our lives. Like if you walked into a room and you've never been there before, immediately blindfolded you and asked you to describe the room, you might give some aesthetic items, but you would largely seek out like, well, there's a table and chair, because you were immediately taking inventory of what I could do in the room, what tools are available to me, where the light switch is, the doors, the windows, all the things. If you're planning, exits, as it were, you're constantly thinking about what are the tools and what are the things I can leverage in my environment. But we also have a unique relationship with tools in that we actually sense and feel through them. So, for example, if I blindfolded you and I gave you a fork and put different things in front of you, with almost 100% accuracy, you could tell me what's edible or not.
Interesting. I'm going to have to try this later, I think.
It's an interesting phenomenon. What we are trying to look into is, between the peripheral and other devices, how can you use your spidey sense to know whether or not the thing on screen is a deepfake? The researchers thought like 2 years ago was that the voice cloning was going to take a lot longer. Mm-hmm. All the theorists and futurists said that voice is how we authenticate right now. Look at the best YouTube videos and the most viral videos. Their audio tracks are immaculate, and that's one of the reasons they're viral. It's actually not the video on screen. It's actually the sound quality.
Yep.
And so we thought it would take a lot longer. Now it's out the window, starting in Hollywood and then out to the bad guys, be able to create all sorts of deep fakes using audio. And so now we have to rely on our spidey sense through our peripheral devices, through our screens, but also in communication context. We're going to have multiple modes of communication to verify somebody's there. If you text me and then I jump on a Zoom call with you, then it's likely that I'm that same person. What's interesting is AI might actually help you do those checks if you have trusted AI, like your good guy AI versus the bad guy AI. I think you're getting there too.
Yeah, right.
Now it's akin. You're a marketer, right? So,
yep.
That like most of what you put on SEO is just read by Google and not by humans for a while.
Yep.
Like humans come after Google decides that it's good.
It's a whole other practice now for SEO on the AI side of things.
Yeah, it's AI being read by AI.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's just what's happening and then depending on how those two agree on something, then humans can finally read it. And I think that's what's going to happen here in cybersecurity. Is there is going to be good guy AI and bad guy AI. So
AI, are you guys implementing anything from a training standpoint in Hook regarding AI? I think you talked about having something that walks through the journey of someone being exposed.
We are a very interesting intersection. We are software that is ed tech, cybersecurity focused, with a distribution through managed service providers. So we have to be able to provide the admin and controls that you all need. So interesting Venn diagram of what kind of software we build. Right now, we might be jumping too far ahead of the curve, but as far as offering out, there are two big things to solve. How do you truly individualize training experiences for everybody on the far end so that every one of your clients and each one of those employees gets a training experience that meets their company's needs, but meets their needs and who they are as a learner, who they are as a person, and individualizes a training to them. Huge challenge, lots of fun to do. AI now unlocks a lot of ways to do that. Not only from like a language in, if one person speaks Spanish as primary language, another is English, not only just that, but just all the psychographics. Like this person's interested in sports and this person is interested in Dungeons and Dragons, and you're able to do the two things.
Yeah.
That's at an offering level. There's also one of our beliefs is that folks like yourself, 2W, will be adopting AI, and you will be leveraging agents to get work done, right? Mm-hmm. That's something you can do for your clients. And so we're anticipating, and what we're currently building into our platform is the ability for your agents to come to our platform and get things done. Okay. So we actually imagine non-human people, whatever that is, leveraging our platform over time. Okay. And so I think, and in our unique space, there'll be cool ideas like you'll be able to say, hey, one of our banking clients just experienced this type of attack. And then we're like, so you can load that attack up, we can simulate, you can build training around it, and you can send the training right out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
As it were. And so you can now match what they're experiencing in the field with the training you're now providing. And there's no lag time between the two.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And that's one of the things you can do with the agentic AI and the offering. On the other hand, internally to us, perhaps like you all, every function in our company, we are looking at AI tools. And we do a unique thing where our org chart actually has all our software built into it. And so all of our software and AI reports to people. So when you look at our org chart, it's not just humans.
Oh, that's cool.
All of our software has somebody to report to, is managed by somebody, is being upskilled by somebody. And when we come to annual reviews, the person they report to helps create that review. And that I think
future. Are you guys around like 50 employees?
Oh, no, we're sub 20 right now.
Okay. So how many softwares do you have integrated into that org chart?
We've done a lot of calling as part of this. We actually cut back like 30 subscriptions this last year. So we're somewhere in the range of 50 to 60.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that org chart is almost overpowered by the applications.
Yeah, but every piece of software we have is in there.
Yeah, right. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's also a way to like start to think of agents as payroll units. Okay, and so like you need to, there's not like, oh, I have a budget for the tech and I have a budget for people. Right. AI kind of blends that too. And you say like, oh, I have a budget for a job to be done.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool. That's unique. So one thing I always like to talk about whenever we have conversations around security is the multi-solution approach and how no matter what, like one tool isn't going to be the end-all be-all. And again, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn because of my role. So I saw someone did a post on how an email got through like SPF, DKIM, DMARC, and you had reshared it with the reiteration of like, this is a great example of why you have to have a multi-solution approach. So do you have any wisdom to add there?
Yes. Anybody who builds and delivers technology solutions should be adamant that they're building a team of functioning software that has to work together. Mm-hmm. So if you're, I'm a big basketball guy. Your job should be to be a coach of like the Chicago Bulls trying to put together an amazing team of a security stack of, you've got your email security, you've got your identity access management, you've got all these layers, you have all these tools working together, but they have to work together as a team.
Right.
You're only allowed one Dennis Rodman. You can only have one vendor that's kind of out there and like doesn't really play nice. But you can't have two. Your whole team has to work together.
Yeah, it's a message we're trying to push as well. So now I have some burning questions. This was the surprise aspect.
Okay.
Can you give any exclusive information about what you have planned for Cybersecurity Awareness Month, if you have anything?
You're going to see the comeback of our main character, Wilderness Jack.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
As
It's a classic.
as he comes back to the office.
Yeah.
And so he's going to go from being a remote worker to an office worker.
Okay.
And that's going to be his thing.
That actually goes perfect into the next question, because watching these videos, are the people in these videos, are they full-time actors, or do they have day jobs and just jump in the frame when the time comes?
Yeah, they all have day jobs. They're all now we do do a talent casting for folks. Yeah, and several of them are on their way to being more and more professional actors. But yeah.
Awesome. They're all very talented.
Yes. Yeah.
Play their characters very well. Is there one security tactic that even you forget sometimes?
One security tactic that I forget sometimes, I'll probably say, financial transaction, subscription, credit card management. Sometimes you're just moving so fast and this card expired, you got to update a new card and stuff. And I will shortcut the other controls and steps because I vetoed the threat in my head.
And then lastly, do your employees go through your own training programs? Do they have something separate, or is typically what they do on a day-to-day kind of training in itself?
Yeah, we have a unique thing because we have a phishing simulator. And so we're constantly giving demos of the phishing simulator. And in that, we're constantly trying to trick each other to get data into our demo environment. And so, multiple times a week, somebody on our team tries to create a phishing template and try to trick the other people on the team.
Oh, that's fun.
That happens regularly. Yeah. So that's part of it. And then, we all are enrolled in multiple forms of training and certs. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much again for joining. Like I said, people that listen to this podcast also get a lot of internal conversation. So they love when people on the outside of the 2W scope come in and share their wisdom. So we really appreciate it. And we are grateful for our partnership and excited to see where it goes in the coming years.
Yeah, likewise. 2W is definitely an innovative brand that is, a brand being promises. You guys are making promises and standing behind promises to your clients that I think really do set you all apart. So I'm excited to be partnered with y'all, and this has been a lot of fun.